now know the identity of a woman who was shot to death in a car going on Interstate 20.
31-year-old Caitlin Elizabeth died from a gunshot. Van Zandt County Precinct 4 Constable Pat Jordan spotted a truck matching the description of Williams' truck and immediately pulled it over. Caitlin Elizabeth was from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Her mother told our sister station in Baton Rouge that Caitlin worked as a hairstylist.
My other daughter-in-law, she was driving. They had no clue that he was going to shoot her.
Baton Rouge native 31-year-old Caitlin Elizabeth, affectionately known as Katie and Teddy to family and friends, was a funny, loving, giving, and caring woman. She was also a talented hairstylist based out of the Baton Rouge area, but was currently living in Dallas, Texas. Caitlin would make plans with her siblings to take a road trip back to Baton Rouge. Never could anyone have imagined the tragic chain of events that would soon take place. Around 1:20 p.m. on September 19th, the sheriff's office responded to a 911 call that a passenger in a vehicle had been shot on Interstate 20 near the 520-mile marker. Upon arrival, they would find an unresponsive adult female inside of a vehicle.
We begin here at 6 with new details on a deadly shooting along Interstate 20 in what authorities are calling a road rage incident. This happened in Van Zandt County near Turner Hayden Road in the eastbound lanes of I-20. And just about 20 miles down the interstate, a Van Zandt County constable pulled over the 18-wheeler driver suspected in the shooting.
The victim was identified as 31-year-old Caitlin Elizabeth, who was sadly pronounced dead at the scene after succumbing to a gunshot wound to the face. A look into the case revealed Caitlin was traveling home to bring her sister back to Baton Rouge when a deadly encounter took place between her and another driver on Interstate 20. Van Zandt County Precinct 4 Constable Pat Jordan said he was driving east on I-20 towards the city of Tyler at the time of the incident. Jordan heard the call come through while driving and requested a description of the suspect's vehicle. Jordan was told to look for a maroon truck pulling a white trailer. He pulled over the first one he saw that matched the description around mile marker 542, just 17 minutes after the initial 911 call. Jordan said he motioned to the driver, who exited the truck and came to the back to talk to Jordan. He later identified himself as Jason Rashad Williams. He fully complied and answered questions about the altercation. Williams admitted to having a weapon on him, and after taking Williams' .45 caliber handgun, Jordan said he became more convinced he had found the suspect. Williams ultimately confessed to police that he was involved in an altercation and described the entire situation to police. According to Williams, he was driving an 18-wheeler down Interstate 20 at the 520-mile marker when a vehicle pulled up beside him. At some point, a verbal altercation ensued, and Caitlin threw something in his truck. Police questioned Williams as to whether or not he had a gun pointed at the vehicle. He replied yes. He was then asked if he fired the gun, to which he replied, "I don't know." After a search warrant was obtained for the truck, another gun was found and confiscated. Williams was detained at the scene for questioning and was arrested soon after for the suspected murder of Caitlin Elizabeth. According to Caitlin's family, she was inside of the vehicle with her 4 siblings when Williams fired toward the vehicle, fatally striking Caitlin. Her mother says Williams had been trailing their vehicle for miles, and when the 2 cars finally caught up to each other side by side, words were exchanged. Caitlin questioned Williams, asking why he had been trailing their vehicle. After a brief exchange of words, shots were fired. Caitlin's family is devastated, confused, and angry, and left wondering why and how something like this could happen.
I'm relying on the Most High, and my family. And my friends.
Cinta Holmes is heartbroken after officials with the Van Zandt County Sheriff's Office in Texas say her daughter Caitlin Elizabeth was shot and killed in an apparent road rage shooting along Interstate 20 yesterday afternoon.
She was a beautician. She was very talented. She's very loving. I'm devastated.
The sheriff's office originally got a 911 call that a passenger in a vehicle had been shot on the interstate, allegedly by someone inside an 18-wheeler.
Heard several officers responding to a shooting on I-20.
Van Zandt County Constable Pat Jordan was on his way to serve a warrant when he decided to assist with the search for the alleged gunman, who was described to be driving in a maroon truck with a white trailer.
So I had to catch up with it. I caught up with it about the 542, 543 mile marker, I had initiated my lights and it pulled over.
Jordan says the driver exited the vehicle and identified himself as Jason Rashad Williams and says he admitted to being involved in an altercation down the road. Jordan then made sure Williams was disarmed and called for backup.
He said he was coming down the road. Vehicle pulled up beside him. They got into some type of verbal argument, and she threw something in his truck. I asked him, I said, well, did you have a gun? He pointed at him, yeah. Did you fire the gun? I don't know.
Caitlin's mom says her daughter was in the car with other siblings at the time. She says they told her Williams had been trailing their vehicle for miles, and when the two cars finally caught up to each other side by side, words were exchanged.
She just asked him, what was the problem? Why were you doing? We trying to get to take, this is what they were thinking. The next thing they know, they heard a bang, a small bang, like they thought the tire was out.
Jason Williams of Illinois is charged with 1 count of murder and 3 additional counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Caitlin's mom says she was a giving person and will be missed by those who knew and grew up with her here in Baton Rouge.
And she was funny, and she was Katie.
Caitlin's mother says she plans to bring her body home to begin making funeral arrangements. Jason Rashad Williams is charged with 1 count of murder and 3 additional counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and is being held at the Van Zandt County Sheriff's Office Detention Center on a $1.75 million bond. Sheriff Carter says that road rage is suspected as a motive in the shooting, but they are still investigating. The case remains ongoing.